All right. Call the meeting to order. Callie, if you'll take roll call.
Peter Boyer, Mayor.
Present.
Council.
Present.
Tim Fick, Council.
Present.
Dan Sabrowski, Council.
Present.
Ray Shane, Council.
Present. Everyone rise for the pledge. Thanks. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right.
My baby.
That was a good one.
My gut.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 24th, 2026.
Moved.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I would entertain a motion to approve the payables list for March 3rd, 2026.
Moved.
Dan, Joy.
We'll say Dan on this one. That was, I'm pretty sure it was Joy though. Bye.
So Dan.
Dan was yeah. Who
I'm
seconded?
not giving it up.
Joy. Signed.
Joy seconded. All right. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Out of this one.
Entertain a motion to approve the payables review for February 2026 as noted on the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second.
Good job, Tim.
Well done.
See, that's how you do it, guys.
Professionals.
Yes, yeah. That
Take
was
notes.
Really professional.
Please milk that in a minute.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I would entertain a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2026-02, amendment of the annual appropriation ordinance budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026.
Moved.
Second.
Motion second. That was Tyler. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
You can tell my voice is deep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? You guys are on one this evening. Mr. Holster, you have the floor, sir.
Mayor, Council, most of my report that was sent to you this afternoon actually deals with Dyna Solar, which is also on the agenda as item 14. So I'll just bring up the few things that I need the council to have in mind. One thing is, as you already know, we're amending our petition, I guess, which had been for a water tender and firefighting foam, and we're switching that over to a firefighting bulldozer. I've spoken to the Industrial Siting Council regarding this. They don't anticipate any problems approving our request on that. It will not get in on the hearing that's on March 24th. It'll be the next quarterly meeting. One thing about that is, and I've already spoken to the fire chief about it, is the bulldozer, if we omit the firefighting foam and the tender, we actually come in about $200,000 or so lower than we had on our original request. You're going to need something in the nature of a prime mover for that bulldozer at some point. The chief has looked into the cost of a used truck and trailer for that. And, it'll also have a need to be able to be refueled on the fire line. And so that has some options. The chief will speak to you about the options there, but if you add one or the other of those, you couldn't add them all, but if you add one or the other, you'll come in real close to the dollar amount that was originally granted. And again, I don't think there'd be any problem with that. In my conversation with the Industrial Siting Council, they indicated they were actually going to reach out to us anyway, because at the time that Dyna Solar funds were granted, Wardwell Water and Sewer District had asked to be a party to the permit, but the ISC had decided that they couldn't be. Their view was that statutorily you had to be a county or a municipal corporation. So Wardwell's request was considered and then folded into Natrona County. So it was granted, but it was granted as Natrona County money in the amount of $101,215.02. I've included the table for what Wardwell, was seeking the money for. It's specific. It's all down on Melody Lane. And there's an itemized list of some work that Wardwell wanted to do, down in that area. I know, just oddly enough, given on what we were talking about earlier this evening, part of it was to replace, I think, 6 meters that they thought would need to come out during that work. Anyway, based on what I've looked into, I don't believe this work ever happened. And so Natrona County is no longer the proper recipient for it, as the system is now bar none's. It's tied to this project specifically, which I don't know that this is one that we had on our radar, but we probably need to put it on our radar and have Dustin and the council figure out how they're going to handle what was that anticipated work. So that's what I have for you.
Man, I had a question. So are the funds just gonna go to the town then? Is that what's?
Well, what would
gonna
happen?
now?
What would happen with these, with all of these funds is, these funds are granted for a specific purpose. So when they're accounted for, they have to be accounted for what was granted. So you just can't, move them around. So what will need to happen, which we had not anticipated doing, but we would actually need to file some sort of an amendment request, so that the funds would go to bar none. Right now, they're slated to go to Natrona County. Natrona County is almost certainly not going to do work on a bar none municipal water system.
Right.
So, it falls to us. And then what would happen is when the 101,000 and change was paid, this, work would need to be done. I'll frankly tell you, and I know Dan was actually listed as a witness because of when this was done. This hearing was a long time ago now, and my guess is that the prices are probably significantly inaccurate. The price for the meters might be the closest to correct. The unit price for the 6 meters, or maybe it was 8, was $1,500 a piece. That might actually be pretty close, but the rest of this is, it's probably wildly off. And it's not Wardwell's fault. I'm sure this is an accurate estimate from the time.
Yeah.
I just fear.
Leah helped us with it.
Yeah, it was
That was
101,000.
2022.
Yeah, my guess is that this would be, and my wild guess is that this is more like 175, 180 now, something along those lines. But anyway, it's money for part of the municipal water system. So,
Does that look like viable work, Dustin? In that list, is it stuff?
So just manholes, that would have been required if they had paved the road or, rebuilt the road in some way.
I know we discussed
Isn't
the
this,
wear and tear on that road. We expected some settling
They
and
would have had to beef it up and possibly pave it, I would think.
isn't this part of
I
that?
think we were talking about burying them.
Oh, the manholes, under the
And bring
gravel.
them back up after the construction.
Okay.
I don't think that they would, again, it's a long time ago, but I don't think that they were going to pave the roads. I think what they were going to do is build them up with some gravel.
Yeah,
And maybe the other part of it is put in some drainage on the side of those roads, because they don't have any now.
right.
Where are you gonna?
At one time,
Hold on a second.
there was, that's when they were coming in through Melody. I don't know if they still are, assuming they ever come in, but anyway,
Wasn't this part of a improvement district?
no,
Okay, because I just remember Melody Lane.
that's Stone Lane.
Okay, never mind. Mentions
So what the concern was here is,
It's reminding me of that because when we took over.
there's a infrastructure down on the access roads into Dynasolar that, stood a pretty good chance of being damaged during, the construction phase. And this was Wardwell's estimate on what they needed to do here to protect their infrastructure, which is now Barnun's infrastructure. The other concern was, and it doesn't have anything to do with us, but the gas lines on some of these streets are incredibly shallow. I mean, shallow.
Services there.
Well, why do you have to? Just,
Yeah, I can see some of these are way cheap now.
I mean, yeah, like a fire hydrant,
Fire hydrant, those
you're
Ballards,
looking at 12,000 to 15,000 per hydrant now.
Ballard, hydrant Ballards alone are probably 800 to 1,000 apiece.
Yeah, like the price for water pit meters and radios, that 1,500 is still, I mean, doable for a standard 3/4 inch coil pit.
So as you know, the Industrial Siting Council has a process by which you can amend your request, which we're doing in general to switch one item to another. You can actually go in and say, we were wrong, or inflation or whatever has caused these prices to be a lot higher, but they do not like it when you do it.
well, I mean, this isn't really our fault
No,
because this started back in 2020. So, I mean, 6 years ago, Rick, that was COVID. So, all right. Well, Dustin, why don't you go through those numbers, come up with some real ones?
and so,
Okay.
I've sent out my draft amendment for the bulldozer. And I do need a decision ultimately on what we would do for the 200,000, if it be for fuel or if it would be for a prime mover. But if we're gonna amend these numbers, I only want to do it once, because if I do it twice, I'm not gonna get anything. So,
Okay, so we need a price on a mover then? Is that what we're saying?
well, I think Sonny can
So
address that.
There's two options that we can go with that 200,000. We can either purchase like a good used tractor trailer to haul with, or we also need a chase vehicle, and then we also need a refueling vehicle in the field, because we don't want to walk the dozer back out 7 or 13 miles every night when they're done to refuel it, and then have to punch back in 13 miles the next morning. So we can either do like a 1-ton cabin chassis with a utility box on it, and then a side-by-side, or that'll have like a 300-gallon slip tank in it. And then, but it'll also have the utility cabinets where we can carry spare filters, hydraulic oil, all that type of stuff for it. Whatever Jake can repair on the line. And then, add the side-by-side with a 30 or 40-gallon slip tank in it to actually do the refueling on the line for the dozer. So those are kind of our options as far as the 200,000. I'm thinking probably 160 to 170 for the utility truck and the side-by-side. And then talking to Jake tonight before the council meeting, he's looking at trucks and trailers that are right around that 200,000 mark, just under 200,000 with decent mileage, good trailer, that type of stuff. So it's kind of which direction do you guys want to go? And then I can work on
And those
price.
things, so we don't really want to spend the money until we get the money on those things. We don't need to order them, we can buy them.
Yeah.
That's right.
So do they do refueling on, so we have to do our own refueling when it's on the line. So the state or whoever we're working for doesn't provide any kind of refueling.
They do in camp, and sometimes they can come out to the drop point and deliver fuel. But the big thing is when the dozer punches line in, as far as they go in is as far as they have to come back out to refuel. So the goal is to have the side-by-side. We can refuel midday. We can also refuel at the end of the shift. And that way the dozer's ready to go the next morning
Without tracking it all the way back.
without tracking it all the way back out. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine driving a bulldozer 13 miles. Oh my gosh.
I guarantee
Told me,
you,
man.
driving will be done in a mile.
In rugged terrain.
No, you just freaking get out and just walk out and be like, I don't care anymore.
I'll carry the gallon back.
I've driven a dozer before. No way, man. 13 miles, gosh.
You're-
You can cut line because going out in is a lot smoother than going out. But anyway, that's a whole nother discussion.
What's the type of like registration and insurance and stuff on a truck and trailer? And
For
DOT licenses, all that stuff. How much does that cost you?
DOT license doesn't cost anything. That's like that's a medical every 2 years and renewing your license, and it's not even hazmat, so you don't have to. You have to have like oversized stuff like that. So it's just it costs you like your license. It's $100, not a lot. Insurance,
And talking to Jake, he's still good with his company providing it.
right?
He's okay with that until we get to the point where we can actually purchase the transport. Because he knows that's the direction we're going, is we're gonna own all the assets.
Right. Okay. Looking at it realistically, while it would be good to have a tractor trailer set up, we still have the issue of refueling. So you can't pull a tractor trailer 13 miles in, however far in, to go refuel. You're going to still need some sort of a vehicle to take it back in there, take the fuel back in there. So I think that would be the more applicable purchase first. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I agree.
That too, and then just thinking of in a fire situation, not just, we know that's gonna be primarily going to wildland stuff, but it'll also be doing stuff around our own town. Let's just imagine there's a fire and that dozer is going. We'd like to be able to drive a side-by-side out to it to refuel it rather than, oh,
All they,
have a hand line, people running gallons out there, so. Yep.
Okay. Got you a direction? Okay.
That's just.
Does that cover you?
yeah, I just needed to get that information so I can complete the petition.
Okay. Anything else for Pat? No? All right, Pat. We'll come back to you. Don't worry though. You're not off the hook. Mr. Cavalier,
Mr. Mayor,
you have the floor, sir.
thank you, sir. I sent just a little over an hour ago some information on the water system that Zone 2B Industrial, which is what Coleman Circle Tank serves. Right now, the system is being served by one pump from the booster station, and you're getting about somewhere between 50 and 80 PSI throughout the system. With two pumps on, you can, that really doesn't increase your pressure at all, but it does increase your flows. Then if something were to happen and you would lose those pumps, you are still able to connect that system to the regional water zone 2B system, which is what it had historically been served on until that tank was installed. You have significantly more fire flow available, more flow available in the system, but your pressures do drop about 15 PSI. The DEQ minimum pressure that you have to provide is 35 PSI. There's one node in that area where Lamar Advertising is. That's the highest node in that zone. That's about 33 PSI in this scenario. So with the tank online, those pressures increase about right at 20 PSI. Fire flows are roughly the same. Actually, it's a little bit variable, but the reason I tell you this is that you do have the opportunity to leave that tank online and provide water, to leave that tank offline to provide water service to that area if you needed to. Now, I think that is a question for fire protection about, what happens in a situation where there is a fire and they've got to fight that fire. A lot of these buildings, the larger buildings, all have sprinkler systems in them. So the smaller ones do not, and that would be more of a fire question. I don't want to spring that on Sunny right now, but I wanted to get you this information and the associated graphic, just so you had an idea of what the actual end user is experiencing while this tank is offline. So all of that being said, we've gotten 2 bids so far for the roof, the panel replacement. And they have come in under our estimate that I gave at the meeting last week. The estimate I gave was 68,000, and they've come in quite a bit less than that. I don't want to share that information tonight just because we're expecting to get one more. And if I publicly share the information, then the next guy's going to come in $1,000 less than the lowest guy, and people won't want to bid with the town of Bar None because they feel like we're not giving them a fair shake. So, you can do whatever you want. There's
Don't go that far.
one of our conversations that we've had internally and that I've had with Dustin is that tank is, they struggle maintaining chlorine residuals in that tank because that industrial zone just doesn't use a lot of water. You know, people aren't doing laundry and doing dishes and taking showers and watering their lawns. It's mostly workers doing normal things that you do at work. So the system operated for decades without that tank. There is the possibility that you could take that tank offline. One scenario would be making some changes into that booster station, adding a fire pump that would provide additional flows to meet fire demands. Another scenario is if Casper ever does a tank replacement project to the North Park tank. The North Park tank is almost directly across the interstate. It's the tall standpipe with the spines that go up the sides. They're different colored and
Brown.
yeah, kind of brown on a tan tank. There have been conversations in the past about the need to replace that tank. If they do replace that tank, I think what they would do is an elevated storage tank that would be a little bit higher. And if that's the case, then you could probably not have a tank or a booster station and just serve it through gravity. That is years down the road. I don't have a crystal ball, but I would say probably more than 3 or 4. So, so what should you do right now? I think that we're getting good bids. We're getting good times. Only one of our bidders gave us a time frame. They said if we approve them soon, they could do the work by March 23rd. And of course, a lot of that is weather dependent because they've got to set up scaffolding all around that tank and 140 feet in the air. They couldn't do it on really windy days. So luckily we don't get a lot of wind in this area. So it's,
Yeah.
you know, they've
Not a big deal.
their oyster,
I
they
mean,
can do whatever they want, but
it was magic that ripped that roof open, right?
yes, yeah, it was the birds,
The birds.
but yeah,
Visionary, that's right.
they just bored right through it. So
It's hilarious.
I think that a tank replacement, as I mentioned, or I'm sorry, a panel replacement is probably a 5-year solution. And that's not to say that the adjacent panels won't experience the same issue. But the $40,000 to $60,000 repair is probably a 5-year, gives you 5 years to figure out what the ultimate solution is.
It also gives us time that if we do a roof replacement or, gives us time to find out what Casper's doing.
Right.
So it buys, I mean, I hate to say it this way because it sounds, one, like kicking the can, and two, like we're not actually having a resolution to this, but it actually buys us time.
Right.
That's really what we need the most of right now.
Yes.
Okay, well, okay, well, I don't know what council's feelings are. I kind of am leaning towards just repairing the roof. And then it'll give us time to figure out what we're gonna do going forward. But I would like to hear your thoughts.
How long will a panel replacement last and the cost of that?
So that's probably 5-year. That's the 5-year.
Okay, versus the whole roof.
The
Correct.
whole roof is gonna be far more expensive.
Right.
Yes, hundreds
I'm
of
good with
thousands.
that, with the 5-year fix on that. And like you said, that'll give us time to know what the surrounding area is gonna do versus another pump and all those other options. That's my opinion.
Thoughts? Yeah, I see heads nodding
Is
upside.
the wind load still the same as the rest of the panels then?
So
Going to be
Though.
beefier?
no, not a
We
pre,
put some tires on it.
good. Put some tarps and tires.
Water tastes like a mint.
Mobile home.
That's what I mean. It keeps them from blowing away the tornadoes.
Neat thing about that is that when you get those really high winds is you have those projectiles flying off onto the interstate. Cars would be kind of cool. So,
I mean, when that company comes in and looks at those, placing those panels, is there anything that they like, can they put in some reinforcement on it at all? Potentially?
maybe. I don't know that that's going to really fix the problem.
Hopefully the other half of that roof, the other circles with the wind, not against the wind.
Right.
So the sections we're fixing should technically be the ones that would have gotten damaged anyway.
Yes. So my question I've asked the contractors that have sent us their quotes is there anything you can do on the adjacent panels to prolong the life there? Whether it's additional sealant, there's already sealant on those panels. So I'm hopeful that we can just, honestly, something like that, the aircraft tape that, they put on airplanes, you could put something on there just to keep the wind from getting in, because once it gets a small hole, then it just vibrates and the hole gets bigger and bigger, and then it's a tuna can opening up, and Dustin's mad at me.
So Pat, how do we proceed from here? If we want to move on this and get it repaired, I don't want to wait till next council meeting 2 weeks from now. I would rather do it when our next bid comes in. We can figure out where we're going to be at.
Because it's already been declared to be an emergency, you have the authority to contract as you see fit. So
would I just need to call council members and just kind of get their agreement on it then?
you can do it that way, or it can be delegated to, you or however.
I will delegate the decision to you, Peter.
Thanks.
I won't.
Well, we're gonna go with whoever can get to it quickest, not necessarily the cheapest, in my opinion.
Right.
So if you called me, that's what I would tell you tomorrow.
Okay.
It saves you one phone call.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
Ditto.
Please answer.
So that, does that need a resolution?
Does need a resolution.
Figured it did. So somebody give me a resolution on that, please. If you want to.
You yawning or?
Oh, it's y'all. I'm
You're
trying to
coming
do
up
it.
with
I'm
words.
trying to do it. I make a motion to make a resolution authorizing the mayor to make the decision on our contractor for the water tank repair.
Second.
It's Tim.
Tim.
Is that
Motion.
sufficient?
Motion is second. Yes, that was sufficient. Thank you, sir. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, cool. Thanks, guys. I didn't have enough responsibility.
That's all I have for you.
And Venus had made a good point earlier. You could probably take that money too out of savings
Right,
on the water.
Yeah, we have reserves for that.
cool. Anything for Ray? Nothing? All right. We need to probably put that in the budget. Don't forget. Since we're doing that stuff, Steve. I have two chiefs now and I don't know what to do. Chief Sheridan, Chief Zahara, I guess. Yeah. Chief Sheridan, hit me.
Just call them all doctor. Doctor.
You got my report, then just about last week. Other than it looks like we're gonna have the 2 used police vehicles next week.
Nice.
So, and then I went and talked to folks that do our vinyl for our maintenance trucks at the fire department. Already set them up to do the stuff for our vehicle.
Vagrancy. I saw a guy walking up Salt Creek.
Do you have blankets?
Homeless chap?
Yeah.
There was two. There was one on the interstate too.
County
Are they,
interacted with one of them, I believe, the one that was in town.
right, where did he,
Camping in the borrow ditch off the interstate.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's, county's handling it, they've responded pretty quick.
right?
See what happens. Those are decisions we'll have to make at the time.
He keeps,
Right.
the road is gonna get hit.
Yeah, we were having issues with it last year too.
Well,
Weather's just nicer sooner.
Do I?
It's just that the weather is nicer sooner.
Yes. Yep. So we're having issues with it last year too, so,
Yeah, typically you give them the wet one,
Emergency valves open.
move on, and
One with one pump.
we don't have any services in part of proper to help them out.
One
so
pump.
yeah.
they have to go to Casper or somewhere.
It's weird though, because they're coming out of Casper, so we're basically just turning them around to send them back to Casper.
Well, the problem is, in the past, they were bused into Casper. I
Yeah.
don't know if we're back on that program again or what.
Maybe. And the other thing, they work their way up here because likelihood of them being bothered is slim to none.
Right.
10%.
I see once the word gets out that they have patrols up here as well, that vagrancy problem's not worth coming here. There's really nowhere there for them to go or hide or anything like that.
Might have been because I announced your church had an outreach program for them.
Does that cover you? Anything for Steve? All right,
You.
Sonny.
Mayor, council, I did not submit a written report because I saw you guys last week, so.
Fair.
The only thing I've got going is next week's gonna be pretty busy with some training. I have Dave Potter will be out of town for 5 days. I'll be out of town for 4. And then I've got like 3 or 4 guys that'll be out of town next weekend for training. Once that is all done, then the engine will go back on the board nationally again, for deployment. And then the only other thing I want to, for you guys to think about, I want to look at, doing an MOU with Evansville Fire Department for the mere fact that their new assistant chief has the Fire Inspector 1, Fire Inspector 2, and Fire Plans Examiner certifications that are required by the state. And until I can get all of my stuff back, I would like to have them do all of our fire inspections and our plan review for all plans.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
I'll work on that as well.
Thank you, sir. Anything else?
That's it.
Pretty easy, man. All right, anything for Sonny? Nope. Okay, moving on. Dustin, you're up, man.
Mayor, council, you have my report. I don't have anything to add to it, really. We just got done with the work session on the meters, and so I'll entertain any other questions.
I don't have any, actually, that I can think of. Anything for Dustin?
We put a tiny little camera on the awning down there on High Plains Park. There's a little white,
Yeah, but there's no wires to it or anything. I looked.
yeah, is that a camera? That hasn't been destroyed yet?
One, doesn't it?
Okay, all right, good to know. It's white.
Let the minutes,
I was like,
let the minutes
I
reflect
need
there is
a black one because
The intention was for it to be very noticeable and visible.
okay,
There's a little red light that comes on when there's motion,
cool, okay.
but it's
Deterrent.
not record.
It's okay.
Please be still.
He's trying to feel he's gonna go vandalize the park now, but no, I noticed.
There
That's,
are cameras covering that area.
I know, but they suck.
Oh, there are cameras.
Kids are monitoring their,
You never know, man.
you know, when they.
You never know.
No, it's good, just because it
That
was
was
some
hoodlums.
got torn down that the guy
like
had
Colin now.
around and, but I'll let Austin know he needs to come. We'll check, put that up around the gravel that they had.
There is a lot of teenage vandalism there in that.
What would it cost to put cameras on those, not on every light pole? That's not what I'm saying. But the light poles right there at the park where there is already power supply to them.
I don't know what it would cost. We burn a massive amount of bandwidth through Mountain West. And up to now, they've been gracious. The MOU is we give them the land for their tower behind our shop. And they provide the service at no charge to the town.
We do pay for the parks connections.
Okay, so we do pay for the park.
So what I'm wondering is if
So it's a massive, I don't know what we pay.
Visionary goes right underneath the park right there, I'm wondering if they could put a tap in right there to wire them and put one right there at the crosswalk on that pole. I don't know. For another time, another
I mean,
discussion.
we could, do you want us to get some
We're
bids?
gonna need to do something better once the bike park's done anyway. So it might be a good idea to start looking at other options. I don't know.
Buy 3 German Shepherds.
Mighty ones.
Build a kennel there.
Yes.
Yeah, agree, looks. Well, let's start planning on that keep that in your budget for next, budget cycle. When we start doing that, that'll be coming up real,
Summer's along there.
we'll be doing that real soon, so. All right, does that cover you?
Fence across both ends of the park.
Yeah, we're good? All right.
Serious.
Callie, anything spectacular?
You have my report. I do have 2 requests that I.
I think those requests look wonderful.
Hold on. Why am I not seeing your report?
It's the.
Oh, there it is.
Abby. It says 12.
Where's that? I recommend moving the Wardwell funds from the Hilltop money market account to the Wyoming Class Investment Fund. The money market is currently averaging per month. Wow,
It's a bit small.
yikes.
We were testing that.
Where's this at, Cal?
bio
I've seen it.
class, so I say do.
What's the expected rate of return?
Currently with Wyoming Class is 0.31784 per month.
What's that yearly?
It's, I'd have to go.
Point.
So you want to move over the entire 2,100,000 and some odd thousand?
Yeah, because it's just sitting there in Hilltop, not doing anything.
Remember, we kind of tested it. We moved some over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is this out of the Wardwell?
Yeah, that was actually a money market account that Wardwell held and we inherited. And we left it there for.
That's $64,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, our church moved money into a deal like this and it made us $10,000 in interest, so it's like a win-win.
Is that 64,000 a month or a year?
Um,
A year, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I have to pull it up.
3% per month.
Yeah,
It's 0.3%.
3% a month.
Holy crap. Yeah,
I had all the calculations lined up.
So Regional just moved their funds to the investment portfolio that Casper uses through First Interstate Bank. And the projected return on that, and it's pretty safe investing, is around 4%. Is what they've been.
Do they have?
Year after year.
limits to how long it has to be in there, how much you can pull?
Somewhat.
The YO class one that we switched some stuff over, it was basically like a checking account.
yes.
There's no limits on
Calculation.
usage and whatnot. So that's where we started. So First Interstate's doing what Hilltop was doing, it sounds like.
I
But
think it is immediately available. If you need.
Currently, we're invested in 2 separate investment pools. We have Wyoming Class and WyoStar, and Wyoming Class is outperforming.
See, that's what we just, on Regional, just closed out the WildStar stuff.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
And people, I think municipalities all over the state are.
we don't have as much in Westar anymore, do we?
So it may be time to be really looking into these.
I mean, I think we should. So, I mean, do you want to look into it or do you just want to do it?
Well, what we did at Regional is we had the investment people from First Interstate Bank come give us about a half hour briefing on what it is that they do and fees and everything else. When, I mean,
We could shift it now
in Hilltop,
and then look at that as the months come on. If that's like a really good idea.
During budget, maybe.
During budget, we could have them come in and share, but
I mean, because right now it's not earning us anything.
correct. And we can make that shift because we already have a ton of assets in there already. So that'd be like an easy fix that this week situation, or I don't know how long it takes to move $2.1 million, but
yeah, we worried about
I
it
got a
too.
guy that
but
did it before. So,
Because I think we moved 6 or 7 million, and we were worried Cause they were like, no, it's to the banks, that's not much money.
I mean, it's literally, they just tap in numbers, that's it. I mean, don't even get me started. Oof, man, the banking system. Ugh. Anyway,
So it sounds
I'll
like
bore Mike to tears with my rant about that one. I'm okay with moving it, but it's really up to council.
I'm up before it.
And I think 0.3, if you multiply that times 12, that's almost 4%. 3.8, so.
Well, I would entertain a motion to move the Wardwell funds from Hilltop Money Market account to the tune of $2,155,895.53 to the Wyoming Class Investment Fund.
So move.
Second.
Oh, go ahead, Joy.
Joy's got this one. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is there still money in the WildStar fund?
Yes, if you.
How much is
look at
that?
the Page on my report, I actually
She's
have
got it.
balances as, these are the January 30th balances.
What are they?
Legacy Waters at the very bottom.
So Wyoming Class is our newer investment pool, and then WildStar is where we've been invested for quite some time.
We don't have WildStar for water though.
No.
That was just bar none stuff.
Is the WildStar stuff available immediately?
Yeah, that's our old
I
one,
need
right?
to look into that. I'm not actually sure.
Might, and then see what the return is on that. Maybe it's time to close that one out, move it over.
I do know Wyoming Class is outperforming WildStar.
Classes,
That's-
right?
It's something I don't understand. It was complicated listening to these people, but WildStar used to really make a ton of money on the interest.
Mhm.
And then it just fizzled out and everybody's bailing.
I was afraid of that a year ago when we brought up moving the funds to Wyoming Class because I had heard of other municipalities that were vacating or leaving WildStar, and I was worried about being left in the dust there and having issues. So
Consider that one too, I think.
You need a motion for that second.
Yeah, you have to split them up too, because they're different amounts. They're coming out of different places. So yeah, you could do a motion if you want to though. Or you want me to
No,
tell?
I just didn't know if we needed to do another one, but I'm happy to.
Yes.
I move that we also move an additional $757,350 from Hilltop One into Wyoming Class Water Investment account. And then we also move to the Wyoming Class General Investment account.
Stick with just the one.
Just get the one.
Okay.
So I need a second.
There you go.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I
Opposed? Okay, now I'll do it.
I move that we also transfer $168,300 to the Wyoming Class Sewer Investment account from Hilltop.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Flying off. All right, is that good?
there's another amount to move to the,
Where?
700.
Oh, the same amount. Yeah.
well, there's the 757, 350 to the general investment, one to the water investment, and then one to the sewer. Did you just do the sewer?
Mhm.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
So we missed one in there.
Yeah,
General.
Same amount, but different account.
right.
Okay.
So, oh, yeah,
We
I
need a
see.
Motion on that one. Tim, you wanted to
Which amount is
get
it?
that second 757,000.
From Hilltop into Wyoming Class
No.
or sewer,
Yes.
right?
Wyoming Class General Investment Account.
So there should have been 757,000 going into water, 757,000 going into the general, and then 168,300
Yes.
to sewer.
Okay, so we missed that second
So I
757.
move $757,350 from Hilltop.
Yep.
Into Wyoming Class General Investment account.
Perfect.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next time, Callie, you
That
got
one was-
the numbers
I know, I got
different.
a point of-
Like, of
Monkey
course, the
brain
one that
doesn't
went
get it.
through had like
It's
three
like,
different
you know,
things.
Lizard brain over here is too simple.
I'll bullet point it next time.
Yeah, bullet point it
That's
and be like,
Do this.
actually just write it out.
Next time.
All right.
Thanks for catching that.
Yeah, good catch. Does that cover you?
Yep.
Okay. Open it up to petitions and public comment.
Truck. You can't always hear back there what's going on.
We need speakers. Okay.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about buying a dozer for $600,000 or something along those lines. I come in this evening. Now we're talking about buying an 18-wheeler and a trailer and a service truck and some sort of
Through impact.
fuel handler truck, right? Yes? Is that what we're talking about now?
Not out of the general fund, out of impact fees.
Our dozer is gonna be dispatched where? We don't know. Right? Could be California, could be Montana, right? So we buying a sleeper or a day cab?
So
I don't think we were in,
we're not
not
really
doing-
buying a semi truck.
You're not.
No.
we felt that wasn't a good
Misunderstood.
decision.
That's why I said I'm coming up here to ask. I thought you were looking at buying a semi and a trailer and a service truck and, you know, all this other stuff, no?
A possible, a fuel tender, but it'll be through impact funds.
What's the vehicle that would
So,
transport it?
so basically, we had impact funds assigned to us for the solar and battery farm that's supposed to go west of town. We don't fight fire the same way anymore on those. So like instead of using high gallons of water and lots of foam, it's a let burn policy. So we're only supposed to protect the surrounding area. So that's why we went to the dozer instead of using an engine for it, right? Because we can actually cut more line faster than a hand crew can by the dozer. With Dino Solar or Nextera, who took over the project, going back to the ISC, it opens up a ball game for us to request. Okay, so we had about $200,000 left over from the dozer. So like the dozer's 527,000, we still had about $200,000 left that was already awarded to us. So my request tonight was, which direction do you want me to go? Do we buy a tractor trailer to haul the dozer, which we already have somebody that has a company that does that, to do our dozer? It'll be on the trailer year round for dispatch. And then, or do we buy a service truck to carry oil, fluids, filters, and fuel and stuff? And then a side-by-side to get up the dozer line to refuel the dozer on site instead of tracking it back out 7 to 13 miles a day. So that's what we were looking at.
So we're not buying this,
Correct.
right? Right.
But please help us get the word out because people think we are.
Yes, please help tell others what you do, that reality.
I thought we were buying it, and then if it was going to California, we were gonna have this caravan, you know, the tractor trailer and service four-wheeler nailing it behind. Or we'd have another trailer for the four-wheeler, you know, blah, blah, blah.
6 trucks, yeah.
So
And I would assume the strategy would be to preemptively build a fire line
Yeah.
around the solar farm
Yeah. So
before you head off for the wild.
every year we'll do vegetation management around that project and around the town as well. So that's our goal with the dozer. And then, yes, it will go out of state if requested, but I am working with the State Department of Forestry right now to backfill that dozer with a smaller dozer if we need to. So like if our dozer goes to California, they're going to bring me another dozer from somewhere else that will sit in bar none.
So the equipment that we have at the maintenance farm right now can't take care of our preemptive fire break around that.
You don't have,
Oh, not around a Dino Solar. We have a backhoe. That's the extent.
You don't have a big front end loader?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have the front end loader too. So I mean,
You got a lot of guys with picks and shovels.
Got a 5-man crew.
Mike, if we were dealing with the general fund, maybe we'd pull poor boy like that, but Dinosaur is paying for this.
That's, as long as we're not paying for it. Paint truck.
And then it makes sense.
Anyway, any other petitions or public comment?
That was good.
Thanks, Mike.
I did put your name on here. Venus Children's Farm, and I just want to say thank you to Dustin for taking the lead on this whole water meter thing. And thank you to council for listening to me during the work session. And I, like Mike said, didn't really hear for sure, but I think somebody had already said, and I don't know that I need to say it again because I said it during work session, that, we use the Wardwell Reserve funds to pay for all this fun stuff, new meters, the roof repair at the tank. And I appreciate, again, not just Dustin catching this or trying to catch this water loss, but also his willingness, or whatever we want to call it. Sorry, lost for words here, brain damage, to make this not just a one-time thing, replacing the meters, but that we're going to keep a maintenance schedule. I appreciate that. Because that's where I used to work.
Did you write Mike's name down for him?
I didn't. But I will.
Thank you.
I did put my name on it.
Thank you, Venus.
I might not be spelling it right, but telling you.
Craft.
Just wait down.
Okay. Any other petitions or public comment?
My name's Bill Frazee and I live here in town. I'm going back into the far distant past, but my wife and I were driving up Antelope the other night and we counted 3 houses that you could see the addresses on. And they used to always bring up the fact that they needed to be marked. So if there was a fire, you could literally say, 1510 or whatever. Now, I mean, the land of drones and GPS and Google, everybody doesn't think about that, but I'm going, if you're driving up there and what are you going to tell the fire department when you call them? You just say, well, it's north of Tipton and south of McMurray and left.
Yeah.
That's something they always used to push on us.
There's a lot of houses without.
In current code for a new home is still a light, and it's got to be a lighted address.
Right.
So, but the older homes,
But, well, they pushed it on us. Mine's an older home. So,
after the fact.
yeah, I'm just,
Code.
looking at it like, because I could see that right in the middle of the night, someone coming up the street.
Sonny, what's your strategy on these homes that,
So as soon as we get the residential code passed, then I will have skin in the game and we can make that happen. So right now, there's nothing adopted by this government agency as far as the residential code or even the fire code.
what do you do now, though? If you get a call for a fire, you
Google,
Go to the house that's on.
Google everything.
Google it?
Yeah,
Wait till you see the flames, I
yeah.
guess.
If there's heavy smoke showing, we're in the right place.
Water on the house.
I mean, so the big thing is to make sure that we have teeth, right? And so for us to be able to do that, we have to adopt that. Once we get it adopted, that's fine. And like I said, doing the MOU with Evansville will give us that side as well. We'll actually have somebody that's it.
So here's my concern then, is if we have teeth and it's a code violation at some point, not to have your address and lighted, to do that, that lighted deal is expensive and you got to run a wire to.
It doesn't have to be lighted. It only has to be to the code when the standard was set. But like, once we adopt the new code, I can always go back to the original code from when that house was built and they have to make it to the same.
Like when it is built.
Yes.
Because the new code is lighted.
They used to tell us that you had to. So,
Yeah.
I mean, 90% of the people kept theirs lit.
And we're going to get there again.
I mean, I do. I just don't,
It'd be
I don't want my kids to burn.
Driving down the road and
Yeah.
you couldn't tell
Yeah.
No.
where you were at
Yep.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Struggle when we were doing the Christmas judging. We couldn't see any.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's, have we sent out the newsletter yet?
Not yet.
That might be a good footnote to
Let's tack that on the bottom.
I will try.
You'll try.
Pizza.
Yeah, Amazon's got.
Do your best. Do your best. Put it in really small writing, lighted disclaimer.
Do. There's a bunch of different stuff on the market now. There's even some reflective ones, so it doesn't have to be lit. All you have to do is shine a light on it, it'll reflect back. But it's supposed to be color contrasting. So your numbers have to be color contrasting to the color of your home. And that's been back several years. The lighted stuff is new age. We don't need to mandate people to do that, but they have to bring it up to code from when the house was built.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just an awareness thing. I think people just don't think about it. But if we made them aware, look, your house catches on fire and we can't find it, how much of your structure you're gonna lose? Cause you can't see your address.
An ambulance.
Yeah.
Or an ambulance.
Isn't a-
So a medical.
Got a
Having
kid
a heart
choking.
attack and they can't find your house.
You gotta hit them where it really hurts. They're Amazon packages.
Oh, there you go.
They could get their packages so much faster with
Yeah, somebody
properly.
could steal it.
Hey, I found a package the other day in my yard next to my gas meter from January.
Fantastic.
And I have a rock sitting on my thing. Like, put a rock on it.
Any other petitions or public comment? Going once, going twice. Old, you don't want to get back up, Mike? Sure. All right. Maybe next time. All right. So the big topic of the night, we need to decide what we're going to do with Dynasolar. I went and spoke at the county commission tonight. That's why I was late in getting to the work session. And I basically made our case. I'll tell you what I told them. Well, I sent them an email too. The size and scope of the project has changed significantly. Dynasolar is saying that it's still the same the same cost. Thank you. Same cost. And so they don't need to change anything, but they're actually reducing the footprint by 1,000 acres. So it's pretty dramatic. And so they're saying, oh, it's still the same. It's not. We've spent, the firefighting debacle that I don't even need to go into the details on that. We know that. We spent a lot of money on that. And Rosenbauer is, I'll get with you about that offline. The battery farm, if it ever does go up, we have to monitor it. We have to keep, a fire crew there until the thing burns out. And then, obviously they've got all the, Dynasolar is going to have all the, whatever they got to deal with that. But we're basically going to be the first responders. And if it does not get caught in time, it's west of the town and it's going to go straight into the town. And so it does pose a real risk. There is such a thing as a heat island. I didn't know this. I actually looked it up. But there are heat islands. These solar farms, these big ones, can actually raise the temperature in their proximity up to 9 degrees. So just imagine that it's a 90-degree day, but now it's a 100-degree day in Bar None because the wind is carrying in all that nice hot air right off of the top of those solar panels towards us. It blocks our growth boundary to the west. It blocks the West Winds Road extension if they ever want to do that, which it has been talked about multiple times. And then there's obviously the last one is that they started this back in 2020. It is now 2026, and they're asking for an extension all the way to 2029. So they're almost asking for a decade. And I'm kind of at the point where I kind of want, I wish they would just put the kibosh on it and we'd just be done with it. But realistically, ISC is probably going to just
extend them.
Thank you. I was going to use a different word and I didn't want to use that word on a public record. They're probably going to just extend it.
Prolong.
Prolong, right? And it needs to be resubmitted. So this project, you guys can't see my hands. This project needs to be resubmitted to the ISC as a different project altogether. And And then we can go make our case as a town that some of this stuff, it needs to move south or it needs to be moved to a different location. It doesn't need to be right next to the town. And then even if we can't get that, if they're going to just extend it, we need to have serious talks about annexation so we at least get some kind of benefit out of this. So
I like the idea. If it's gonna go forward, I like the idea.
yeah,
The further south and west
yeah,
would be beneficial. And then we carve out our growth, we still get our growth boundary in west winds
yep.
in the future.
Is ISC, or did you say that they are making them resubmit?
No,
Okay.
no. So Dynasolar has submitted for an extension of their current construction plan. And so they have, like I said, they have changed it dramatically, and I feel, and the county commission feel, and they have a conditional use permit
I
with,
was just gonna ask that.
they have a conditional use permit with the county, and so they can't just do whatever they want. They have to go through the county also, and the county is not, they're not feeling the warm fuzzies on this either. So there's some stuff that they're gonna have to go through, and so basically, right now, there are two things going on. First of all, the ISC is having a hearing on in Cheyenne at 9:00 on the 24th. I was planning on going down to testify on behalf of the town that they need to resubmit a whole new plan. But I didn't want to do that without council's approval. So we need to discuss what we want to do, or what you want me to do, I guess. And the county also wants to submit a letter to the ISC along with them, Mills, and possibly Casper to go down to the ISC so that we can basically say, these are our concerns. You can't just say this is going to go forward without addressing these. This should have been addressed by the previous mayoral administration, and it was not. And I'll just leave it at that.
What did Mills have to say?
Leah, her main point, well, she agreed with what was happening with Bar None. She said this isn't, it's not fair to the town to just limit our growth boundaries. But she also brought up that they bought, I think they bought an ambulance, if I remember correctly. I think they bought an ambulance, and was there anything else, Pat? I don't remember.
There was staffing for the ambulance at different times of the year.
So staffing and an ambulance, and they spent all that money, and then none of this went through. And the county spent a lot of money, way more money than I would have been comfortable with. And so there's nothing against county, but so they feel the pain too. And everyone from county down is pretty displeased with all of this. So all that being said, we need to write a letter a letter needs to be sent to the county. The county is going to put their letter with ours, and then they're going to, we're going to send it up to ISC. So we need to decide what we want to put in that letter to send to them. And then when I go to ISC, or if I go to ISC, what does my points that I need to make to them? So these are pretty big topics for
Reiterate the letters that we would write, probably. Yeah. Okay.
So I've got my little list here.
If the project's gonna go forward, once they go to the 1,000 acres instead of the 2,000, that's locked in forever. You can't come back to the 2,000.
Okay.
Oh, so no expansion in the future. And then annexation.
Right, because if you expect to expand, then we want to kill the whole project. Because we want our growth boundary. We'll give up a small section of our growth boundary since it's already, you've done all this stuff and people have spent money. But
So-
we want our northern growth boundary.
One thing you have to take in, so just kind of setting the table on it. One thing you have to keep in mind is that under the original permit, of course, Bar None was a party to the permit, but Bar None did not take any position in front of Natrona County. So a lot of the issues that would properly have been raised then that you've mentioned were not. So in some ways, what their argument would be is you let the annexation ship sail. All these things that you could have objected to, you did not. So probably the way you need to frame it is they had a conditional use permit, but they have it. The one thing is those things lapse. Secondly, this is such a substantial change in nature that conditional use permit should not be applicable to this change. Therefore, the whole thing needs to come back to the Natrona County Commissioners, at which point it is an application for a new conditional use permit, at which point the municipalities can voice their opinions again, or in Bar None's case, for the first time, and express the concerns that you've noted. So what you really need to do is you need to get it back in front of the commission. That's what you need to do. The legal argument is when I go, so if I go for a conditional use permit.
Right.
And I'm saying, well, I want to build a garage, I need a conditional use permit. And they say, okay, go ahead. And then I said, well, thank you for my conditional use permit for my garage. And here's my 50,000 square foot condominium plaza, which I am building instead. That's not what my permit was for. And what they're seeking to do is not what their permit was for. So it needs to be clawed back so that the residents of the county can have a say. Another aspect of that is generally under municipal law, you can't bind a future council too far in the future. But now we have done that because this was, permitted in 2020 and we're talking about construction in 2029. It may be an invalid administrative act for that reason. Do you want me to draft a letter to you?
Yeah.
Nah, you got all that.
So on that point, so then I get a question for you after I have a question for you. When you were with the county commissioners, was there talk of doing a new?
Yes.
So they're on board.
So talking to Dave North afterwards, and he's the one who we're going to be working with to get this up to the ISC. But yes, there is some
New conditional use permit.
Yeah, they're looking at it like the same kind of way we are, is that you guys need to resubmit. Like, this is a whole new project.
So if the county commissioners though, because we know there's conflict there sometimes, ideally we would like them to do a new conditional use permit and then we could start this thing all over again. But if they decide not to do a new conditional use permit, but then you just said, we're so far into the future and you're trying to obligate a new administration, can we file a suit?
Yeah, you could file a declaratory judgment action seeking to determine whether that conditional use permit was invalid for two reasons. One being just the fact that it's a different project and contemplates something different than what they're going to do. The second one is you just cannot a future council too far in the future. I mean, that's just
Plan A, conditional use permit, the county plays ball. Plan B, if the county commissioners fall apart, we step up. And say no.
You could ask for a declaratory judgment on whether it's valid. If you're not there yet, you don't need to approve that now. But
let's keep in mind.
And unfortunately, it would appear that you have boatloads of time because they're not going to be doing anything soon. But that again presents part of the problem, because part of the problem here is you have to rely upon the original permit, and the entities have. Natrona County did, Mills did.
We did to an
We
extent.
did because we ordered a tender. So you spend the money in anticipation of being reimbursed. Now they're changing the nature of the project. There's no guarantee the project won't be changed in the future. And if they're not going to break ground till 2029, we're not going to actually receive payments until 2029, and we'll be receiving payments in 2029 based upon 2020 money. Which we've already seen how that works tonight, with the Wardwell, problem.
Did they purchase the ground? Are they the landowners now? Or is that
They have,
a perpetual agreement.
what I think is the case, and I don't know for certain, I'd have to get back in and look. I don't believe they own the ground. I believe they have a lease right that they did purchase with the landowner. So they have they have an existing lease right, I believe.
Land is owned by somebody out of Oklahoma now. I just checked that at the beginning of this meeting because it was
Was
Forties?
4Ds, and
Yeah.
he has died
Oh.
since this commenced, so.
Oh, what a mess. Okay, well, Pat, I guess you and I can work together and we'll include council on it and we'll get a letter written up. This needs to be done pretty soon. The 13th is,
I can have you a draft of the letter this week easily enough.
okay. Go, man.
You know, it's not petition public comment time anymore, but the heckler has something to say.
What's up?
Yeah, I know my time was already over, but based on this conversation here, this whole deal falls through. Are we paying now for this bulldozer?
Well, so the way that would work is that any money expended in anticipation, if they never break ground, they'll never make any distributions. That would be money that the town had spent that would not be recaptured from Dyna Solar payments.
Yes.
So yes.
So, you know,
But, can I speak to that? Sure. But in that case, how quickly does it pay itself off based off?
Okay, let's not have this conversation.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was just curious. I didn't mean to open up another can.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was a good question.
Hey, if you want to know the particulars, you could just get with Sonny afterwards and he can fill you in.
Thank you.
All right. All right. That's all I got about that. Pat, I'll talk to you about ISC afterwards too.
Okay.
We don't need to belabor the point. Just a reminder, we got the appeals court next Tuesday at 7.
That on the calendar. Sweet.
That's all I got. Anything from council? The appeals court is,
Yes, got it.
yep,
At 7:00.
7:00.
On the 10th?
It's on there?
I don't have anything.
Yeah, we,
Yes, a couple I didn't see.
Or what are we doing?
On March 10th,
March 10th.
1900 hours, 7:00.
Got it.
The appeal hearing.
I think I put it
We
in.
get to act as judges, jury and executioners.
You get that, Callie?
Are you gonna be able to be there?
Set of gallows for the front.
Tuesday the 10th?
I
Yeah.
should be.
Okay. All right. Just a reminder. I'm glad I said something. I felt like I should. Okay. Anything else from council? No? All right. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.